Welcome back to Scrapbooks That Teach 2010 E-Gala. This is our back to the classroom blast. And this year we're working with an academic scrapbooking kit called Oil is in the News. You should have already printed out your E-Gala handout so that you will be able to see the tools and materials, the fishbowl activity, as well as the tasks that we are making during this E-Gala. This video is going to be focused in on this handout, so that if you don't have this handout yet, you might want to stop this video and go back and print it out from www.scrapbooksthatteach.com and then click on the button on the left-hand side that says E-Gala. Once that page comes up, then click at the bottom of the page where it says click here, and your handout will pop up so that you can print it out. And talking about the fishbowl, we're teaching students the art of discussion. Teachers, you should open the discussion with a provocative question that you have come up with that is based on the class's shared knowledge from your lesson. In this particular kit, we have offered you a provocative question. Focus in on the how and why to build your critical thinking skills. You might consider giving the question beforehand so that the students can research 3 points to discuss about the topic. The teacher picks the topic. And for example, I've had kids discuss through fishbowl the decision to drop the atomic bomb. This was high school, and the riggers were raised to challenge this class. Now you can decide whether or not you want to maintain your question at the class's skill level or if you want to challenge them. The point is that the talk or the discussion among the students is accountable. This is called accountable talk. And so that I, as a teacher, have a record of this accountability in my classroom, I can use italk.com to record the discussion. I then can post this discussion to wiki.com so that the students can have reference to the discussion when completing their reflection page for the scrap page. I tell the students this is recorded for my purposes, but I have it available for my portfolio and nothing else, so that I don't do written permission. Teachers, on your handout, here are the materials and tools that we're recommending. For example, your file folders. These we have in abundance at school, and the reason for that is because you can cut out 2 of your task cards from here. I don't use any special type of pen, just a dark marker. And in going to the task part, I have listed the 8 task cards that you need to have. So let's just run through them quickly. Imperialist. And actually, I'm going to need 2 of these cards. And if you look on the back, what I have done is that I have put a number 2 here so that cues me for when I run this kit again in the following year that I will need to have had 2 of these. I then have active listener. Again, I need 9 of these cards because my active listener is my summarizer, and so I need my outside circle to be active listeners.
Okay, just one question. Just as far as like the teachers are concerned, can you show us how these cards are made? How big are they? Can you show them on the folder and open them up, and so the teacher can see how many of these task cards that you get per folder? You did explain it was 2, but it was just for some of us who are a little slower. Okay, we're seeing it. Okay, I can see
what you should be seeing right now is that I am using 2 task cards per file folder, and that is why I suggested that you might want to have 11 file folders. Okay, and
Okay, yes,
see that?
yeah.
Okay. Now, that's why I suggested you might want to have a ruler, because when you go to refold these cards, you'll see that I needed this ruler in order to create this extra edge. Okay, it's tough to fold these file folders again. Okay, and so that you make a tent. You're making a tent so that they stand on the students' desks like that. Okay, and let me set up a couple of these for you so that you can see how these are going to look. To continue with the cards, you're going to want to have railroad representation. And again, you're going to need 2 of these cards. So that means that 2 students will be a railroad representative. My negotiation team. This is the inside circle of the fishbowl. And there are 4 students to start off with. France. Another student will be Turkey. Another student will be the USA. And another student will be Great Britain. Now, the reason why we've specified these countries is because these are the countries that were directly involved with changing the world from diesel over to oil. And so each one of these students here is going to take the perspective of that country. So one student's going to have a French perspective, another will have an American perspective, another will have a Turkish perspective, and so forth. Then, of course, just in case, and I've never needed to use this in my classroom, but you might want to have a peacekeeper. And this is a student who is going to say, hey guys, you know what, we need to make sure that we remain in a conversational tone. This is not an active debate. And of course, somebody who will do any writing, your recorder, and the photographer. And I use 2 of them in my classroom. Almost all my kids have cameras of their own, and so as soon as they hear that we're doing academic scrapbooking in the classroom, guess what? I can guarantee you over half the class will come to class with their cameras. All right, so even with my 1 classroom camera, you know what? I am never at a loss for a camera. Also, you will need 1 materials person, and this person will help you sort the materials to get ready for the group, as well as be timekeeper for your fishbowl activity. Now, the next thing is, one of your sketches was an oil barrel. And I just went ahead and I printed it out on sort of some grayish paper, brown paper. I suggested brown paper because everybody has brown paper. But what you want to do is that you want to go ahead and let's just cut this out. Okay, cut out your oil barrel. And the reason why you want to go ahead and cut out your oil barrel is because we're going to have some fun with this. And we're going to cut out enough oil barrels so that we have questions for our active listeners. So the oil barrel and your active listeners go together. You will decide what question that you want to have from the lesson that will foster or promote the discussion inside the fishbowl that the active listeners can engage in. Because remember, you want your entire class to be engaged in this activity. You're teaching kids how to critically think, as well as to meet the standards of your state's curriculum. Now, once you have that done, basically, that's all the prep work that you have to do. And just making up these cards and copying the oil barrel on a colored sheet of paper, frankly, it took me less than 20 minutes to do. Now, at my school, we're on a block schedule of an hour and a half each. So I have an hour and a half for my prep time. And even if you have 45 or 50 minutes for your prep time, less than 20 minutes to prep for a lesson, you know what? I think that's a bonus. Now, I've picked up your E-Gala handout because I want to show you that the directions for implementing the activity is right here. And you'll see that there's minimal steps on how to implement. All you're going to do is that you're going to start off with 3 to 5 student desks or chairs, and you're going to create a small inside circle in your classroom. Then all the other desks go around that small circle. This is called the fishbowl. Now, in my classroom, I modify that just a bit, and what I do is I put an extra chair in for the inside circle just in case other students want to join. Well, once you have started with the provocative question and the students start discussing this, only the fishbowl students are permitted to speak at this point. The outside circle students will use agree and disagree cards to quietly respond to the inner circle statements. Quietly means that they will simply hold them up. The agree and disagree cards are part of your ask. The kids are earning their points, which you as a teacher establish by participating in the discussion. And they do that by supporting their argument and opinion with evidence that they have researched beforehand or by using their class notes. And again, this is called accountable talking. The moderator, usually me, the teacher, will periodically ask the outside circle to comment on the fishbowl reply or to pose separate questions of their own based on the commentary inside the fishbowl. And this is where my active listeners come in, because remember, we have at least 9 active listeners, and we have their questions on the oil barrel. And this is Heidi Willard from Scrapbooks That Teach. Thank you for joining us.